The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here. Do you know my name? It's in the title of the show. Thank you. I do this on the radio and the internet every single weekday for about 10 years now almost, when the internet thing started with the podcasting junk. Someone said, Ron, get involved. I said, shut up. I do radio. I don't want to get involved with internet stuff. He said, believe me, it's the future, Ron. I said, there's no way that doing a podcast is going to be the wave of the future and become popular. People don't want that. Boy, was I right. Anyway, I'm still doing syndicated radio as well. Just Google my name, Ron Van Dam, or go to newenglandbroadcasting.com, and you can hear me every single weekday. And because of this internet thing, all like almost 3,000 episodes are available to listen to. So if you have the time, it's crazy, man. I've been doing radio for 35 years now. That's a long time to do anything. Can you imagine if you did anything for 35 years? You'd say, why didn't you stop doing that? I know. I get it. So what I do is once a week I come into this studio, hand motions. I come into it to make it worthwhile to do this on television at all. I have to do some hand motions every once in a while. I come in this studio and I just talk for 30 minutes. Now when I do my daily show, the show that I do on a daily basis, my weekday thing, I talk for 20 minutes and then I have a guest for 10 minutes, sometimes related to the topic that I was monologuing about. So that's it. Both shows are on the lean of sarcastic comedy. If you're into that, you'll love it. If you're not, then don't. Anyway, thanks for being here. You know, as long as I'm on what they call this local thing, might as well say, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again until someone hears me. They used to, in every town and city in Massachusetts, they used to have a food tasting thing. It would cost like $20, $30, sometimes a little less. And you'd meet people from the community and all the businesses and all the nonprofit organizations and all the restaurants basically would have food tasting, and you would go up to their little table and try their food, and you would say, oh, this is really good. And then you would go to their restaurant next time you went out, and it really, really worked for them. But for some reason, this thing called COVIDity came around, and with COVID, everything stopped. No more buffets, no more gatherings of people. No more buffets really stressed me out. No more gatherings of people. That's really what I wanted to begin with. That's what I wanted all my life. Oh, my God. No more gathering with people. Thank you. It's a law. Oh, my God. Thank you. But then COVID ended for the most part. A lot of grief involved. Let's not make light of that stuff. Some people are still suffering from it or for it. But basically out of our lives now, nobody wears masks anymore unless you're going to rob a bank or something. So, I mean, that's better. But these two things never came back. The buffets really never came back. The salad bars really never came back. And the food tasting in all these cities and towns never came back. And I don't understand why not. They were very successful, very profit-making, a great promotion for everybody in the town, on every level for every reason. But now we're like COVID crazy. We don't, what if someone sneezes? Wear a mask. I mean, or don't, but let's get back to as normal as possible. I don't like loud crowds. I think it was on last week's show. I don't remember because my memory has totally failed me now. As soon as you turn 40 years old, the brain cells start going, I'm done. It's enough. You're going to operate on 3 or 4 brain cells, see how you do. That's pretty much where I am now, I think. So I think last week I did a show about the fact that there are too many people on the planet right now. There always have been. Now there always are. Too many cars on the road, too much traffic. No matter, you can go down a side street and be in traffic. It's ridiculous. You can't get into a place without making a reservation. You have to wait online for things. And then you go somewhere and it's crowded and there's too many people. There's just too many people. I think people are fine, but not all around me. That's not what I signed up for. I wasn't brought up that way. This is ridiculous. I also made comments about families that have way too many children. If you have 4 or 5 children, I don't understand what happened to you. I think you do it because it's tradition. You came from a large family. It's no excuse. You're supposed to correct that, not make it worse. You replace yourself and get on with it. I'm sorry to yell. I really don't mean to do that. Where are you? Oh, there you are. I don't even know where you are. There's cameras all over the place. I don't know where. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I was thumbing through some books recently, and someone made the comment to me, Ron, you should do a show about these nursery rhymes. Oh, you mean the nursery rhymes for little kids, for tiny little kids? Those nursery rhymes? Yeah. And I started looking into it, and I found that they are the most disgustingly disturbing, freaky things I've ever read in my life. And these are the nursery rhymes that we relay to our children when they're vulnerable, when they're like 5, 6 years old, 3, 4 years old. We read them these stories of doom and grief and oddness. Where did they come from? Why are they so weird? Well, in order to talk about this, I need to give you some examples. Most of these nursery rhymes you'll be familiar with, but maybe you never really heard the words so much, because when people say nursery rhymes, it's always in a very sweet, very somber, very, very relaxing kind of. But these are horrible things. I will read one now. I didn't bring my glasses with me, so excuse me if I hold it up to my face. I know you hold things up to your face too, so let's not judge. Don't judge me. Humpty Dumpty. You familiar with this thing? This is a large egg that sat on a wall. Who knew? A large egg, an egg that was larger than most. Here's the nursery rhyme, and this is how sick it is. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Oh my God, the egg fell off the wall. What's going to happen? All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't get Humpty Dumpty together again. So, what's your point? If you're a large egg and you fall off of a wall, everybody's going to gather around, try to put you together, but they couldn't do it. So what's the end result? Humpty died right there under the wall. They tried to revive him, her, whatever. A Humpty, I think, is a guy. Or a Humpty girl as well, actually. Both men and women do the Humpty, right? They tried to revive Humpty. They did everything they could, but they could not. And all the king's horses even tried. All the king's men, I understand that they couldn't revive poor Humpty who fell off the wall. But even the horses tried to revive Humpty by giving them horse-to-Dumpty resuscitation. They couldn't save him. They couldn't save him. Sad. Why does a child want to hear this? My reaction as a child was, okay, there was a large egg, it fell off a wall, no one could save the egg's life. Why are you telling me this? What's your point? Well, if you fall down, maybe you'll die and people can't resuscitate you. That's the lesson, young man or young lady. Okay, fine, interesting. Here's another one. This is such small print. Jack and Jill, you familiar with them? They were a thing. They were a couple. I read that on Tinder and Facebook. Jack, nice guy. Nice guy. Jill, perfectly normal girl. Whenever they went up a hill, they would hold hands. They were cute. They're a cute couple. People talked about them behind their back because they was always going up hills. You couldn't talk to them in front of them. They were always going up the hill somewhere. They love to go up hills. I think it's how their relationship really started blossoming. Hi, I'm Jack. I'm Jill. What do you like to do? I like long walks on the beach and walking up hills. Me too. Me too. So Jack and Jill, as they usually did, were going up the hill. And I read accordingly without my glasses. Holy crap, I can't see this. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. They were thirsty. They walked up the well was at the up on the hill, so they had to walk up the hill with a pail of water. Jack and Jill walked up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Another tragic accident. Humpty falls off a wall. Jack goes up a hill, breaks his crown. Now, I don't know if Jack was a king or a prince. I don't think so. I think breaking his crown was he cracked his head open. And then Jill came tumbling after. Jill, look what just happened to Jack. Look what happened to Jack. And you tumbled too. Well, maybe they were holding hands, and when Jack fell down and broke his crown, he already had broken his crown, and Jill just came down tumbling after Jack broke his crown already? I guess that's love, or some type of death wish. And another example of how we're telling these little stories to children. Two little kids your age wanted a drink of water. One of them fell down, smashed their head open, and the girlfriend fell down too. Right after him, right after he did. And what happened then? I don't know. The story ends there. This is a little tidbit of life. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Another one. Awful, just awful. Here's one that also is very sad. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run. Probably not well, they're blind. What, are we gawking at them? I feel bad for the mice. They're blind. I mean, that's not good. And there were 3 of them. What are the chances? 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. Very repetitive, by the way. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. What? Did you ever see such a thing in your life as 3 blind mice? Okay. That's got to be a joke or something. Here are 3 handicapped rodents. And they can't see a thing, and the farmer's wife thinks she's being chased by these mice. The mice don't know where they're going. They're just running around. They can't see anything. They got little glasses and a cane. What are they going to do? She freaks out. And how does she react to being chased by blind mice? She cuts their tails off. Is that a natural reaction? Why don't you just run out of the house and leave it at that? What, you got to turn around, grab a knife, and cut their tails off? Why would you do that? That's cruel. I have a good mind to call Peter and tell him about it. Or call Peter and tell him about it. So this is the tragic action that takes place. Blind mice are running around. The farmer's wife takes a knife and carves their tails off. And the last line of the rhyme is, Did you ever see such a thing in your life as Three Blind Mice? No, I haven't, but isn't the main thing that the farmer's wife turns around and cuts their tails off? I mean, what did the mice do wrong? Running after the farmer's wife? That's what she thought was happening, but it wasn't happening. They just couldn't see anything. She turns around and cuts their tails off, and your reaction is, did you ever see Three Blind Mice before? Did you ever see a woman, a farmer's wife, turn around and slice off the tails of handicapped mice? That's the point. Not, yeah, did you ever see Three Blind Mice before? Isn't that crazy? Oh, God. What a horrible thing for children to hear. Here's a nursery rhyme which is actually child abuse. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. Right there, housing problem. Why would she live in a shoe? Well, first of all, it must be a very large shoe. And secondly, I would rather live in a pair of pants. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. Well, there are options. You could not have the children. You could cement up your nether region. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. Well, you should have thought of that before. Now you got so many children, you don't know what to do, and you live in a shoe, and you keep having children. Whose fault is that, lady? There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. Stop dating these guys that obviously taking advantage of you. She gave them some broth without any bread. Well, that's cruel too. Why would you give your children broth and no bread? They can't live on broth. This is so abusive. This is so abusive. She gave them some broth without any bread and whipped them all soundly and put them to bed. What? She gave them broth. No bread. I'm going to beat the hell out of you. Now go to bed. You have way too many children. You should be arrested for child abuse. I don't know where your shoe is. I don't know your shoe address. So I don't know who to call to stop you from doing this horrible, horrible treatment of your children. And this is a story that we tell our children. It's disgusting. Just disgusting. All right, here's the last one. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater. Whatever. He had a wife and couldn't keep her. Well, I wonder why. You're in a relationship and all you do is eat pumpkins. And you're wondering why your wife, it's hard to keep her around. She doesn't want you anymore. You have an obsession with pumpkins. What do you expect from her? She's being neglected, Peter. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell. What? And there he kept her very well. Another form of abuse, spousal abuse. Here's a guy who just loves pumpkins, obviously not loving his wife or giving her any attention. And she says, I'm leaving. And he found that he couldn't keep her. She says, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm sick of pumpkins. Pumpkin beer, carving pumpkins for you, you eating pumpkins all day. I'm sick of it. You're ruining October for me. I'm leaving you. And Peter said, oh, no, you don't. That's not an option. I'm going to put you in a pumpkin shell. Well, that makes sense. He's so into pumpkins, now he's taking his wife and putting her in a pumpkin shell. And there he kept her very well. Somewhere, there's a pumpkin shell with a lady trapped inside. She's captive, begging to be released and saved. Just down the street from her, there's a lady who lives in a shoe. She's got so many children. She beats them, doesn't feed them. I don't know what's going on in this country. And these are the nursery rhymes that we tell our children. Where do they come from? How is this possible? Well, I did a little bit of digging because I wanted to plant a tree in my backyard. Did a little bit of digging, and I found out that these nursery rhymes were written centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries ago, like 600 years or something like that, 600 or 700 years. And life was different then. And I guess these, what I found when I did my research, and by the way, it was on Google, I'm embarrassed to say, but I did it on Google, I'm sorry. It is such a thing to do that I just fell into it. And the library was closed and it wasn't in the encyclopedia, so I just had to Google it. I asked around, no one knew the answer. So these rhymes are about 700 years old, fairly old, you know. And they were not written for children. They were written for adults. Somehow they got transposed into the world of children as the centuries moved on. And that's because the grouping of these ridiculous rhymes are under the guise of Mother Goose. Mother Goose, the mother of all gooses and geese. I don't know how Mother Goose acquired these rhymes, or the way that she maybe acquired all of the Michael Jackson music library. I don't know how this happened, but somehow this is turned into children's nursery rhymes. And when you break down the words and the meanings, or even the supposed meanings of these rhymes, it is utterly disgusting. It's something that should be disputed and banned. Now, I'm not for burning books or burning bras because I don't like to play with fire, basically. And I don't think that these nursery rhymes should be banned. I don't think anything should be banned anywhere in this country. But I think a warning should be on these books, a warning label, similar to what you find on packages of cigarettes, where these nursery rhymes may be harmful to your child if they have half a brain and are saying to themselves, why are you telling me these stories of death and destruction and abuse? What's your point? I doubt that many parents of this day and age tell these rhymes to their children. I think it's somewhat a thing of the past, but it's quite fascinating. It really is. Okay, we move on. I just thought this was interesting. I also had trouble reading it. There's another page. Oh, here's one more. There's one more. Oh my God, there's one more. There's one more. Ready? This one's pretty bad too. It's raining. It's pouring. The old man is snoring. This is every marriage over the age of 40 or 50. Women and men both snore. So what's the point here? Let's find out. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. Sounds like things are like rather loud, right? It's raining and it's pouring and it's, hitting the window pane and the old man's snoring. All right, this is going to be about something loud, right? It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He got into bed and bumped his head and couldn't get up in the morning. Another dismal, depressing story. And that's the end of it. What happened was, and I don't know what raining and pouring has to do with it. I don't know. I guess it's the weather conditions to set up the story. I really don't understand that. The old man is snoring. All right, that's significant. He got into bed and he bumped his head. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. When you get into bed, you think nothing can happen to you. You can bump your head on the headboard. Well, that's what happened to this guy. He bumped himself in the head, and he couldn't get up in the morning. Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? By? Couldn't get up. He couldn't get up in the morning because he was dead. Now that could have rhymed, actually. It's raining, it's snoring. The old man is snoring. He got into bed and he bumped his head and couldn't wake up because he was dead. That would have been more to the point. Couldn't get up in the morning? I have to read into that. That is so dismal. It's a story about a guy who was snoring, got into bed, and died. Stop it! Your children don't want to hear this. What? These are Mother Goose rhymes. I think Mother Goose is the ringleader. I think she's the one that should be arrested for annoying children, abusing people, and making them depressed and feel icky and awkward. Mother Goose should be, I don't know. Take her books off the shelf? No, don't do that. Arrest her for disturbing the public? Yeah, I think so. I don't know Mother Goose. Can you imagine if Mother Goose was like your mother-in-law or something? Like, I really want to marry you. I can't marry you. Your mother is Mother Goose. She's so freaky. Every time we go over to her house for dinner, she's telling us these stories that are so dismal. I'm scared to eat the food. I can't marry you because of your Mother Goose. But you're not marrying my family, you're marrying me. No, I'm merrily rolling along. I'm marrying your whole family, and I'm sorry, this is not going to work out. That's the way that happens. All right, now I'm done. That's enough. I don't know what show comes up after this. I don't know what show would. It's probably a school committee meeting where they sit around a large table and they discuss things that they can really do nothing about. As I said on a previous show, I'm really happy that they banned cell phones not nationwide, in Massachusetts. But unfortunately, that doesn't take effect until next year, school year 2026 to 2027. In the meantime, we still have to put up with all of that stuff. Well, I'm out of time. I'll be back again next week. I hope you join me then. Till they do not read this to your children. I wish you peace.